Okay, so this was the very first day of CES, or at least the very official day of CES. Yeah, as I mentioned before, CES really started on Sunday, but in fact, actually, it was kind of funny. When I walked home from CES Unveiled, the party that I only just barely made it to, and had all my luggage with me, I remember passing a TV screen that said CES 2024 starts in 2 days, and I was thinking, like, it's on now, man. You're out of it, TV. Okay, so this is actually when the show floor opens up, and I want to mention a few things about CES and what I call CES 101. Oh, we don't need a subtitle there. We don't need a subtitle. Don't put the subtitle. Oh, come on. Don't put the subtitle there. You don't need that. We're going to move on. Okay, I've been talking about the CES show floor, but it's actually not in one place. I mean, CES is all over the place in Las Vegas, let me tell you. Now, I would say the biggest part of CES takes place in what is known as Tech East. Now, this is the location where the Las Vegas Convention Center is, as well as a Westgate, which I believe, I think the Westgate used to be a Hilton or something like that. I remember it was being called a Hilton back when I first went, but yeah, they have a section there. They have like 3 large sections. There's like the north section, the west section, and the central hall. That's where some of the bigger companies are. That's where your LG, Samsung is. There also used to be a south hall, which was 2 stories. So imagine like an area that is a few football fields together, and you have 2 stories of that. They don't use that area anymore. I have really no idea why. I kind of remember that just started. I don't even remember when that started. I mean, I think I came in 2023, and I hadn't been in CES for like 3 years because of COVID and crazy stuff. So I'm not sure why they did that, but yeah. Anyway, that is Tech East, the convention center / Westgate section of CES. And then there is Tech West. Tech West is where like the Venetian is, namely the Sands Convention Center, which has a bunch of exhibits there, a show floor. 2 levels of it, in fact. 3 if you count some of the rooms, or 4 if you count. There's like meeting rooms that are reserved by clientele there. And even I think that bleeds into the Wynn and the Encore. You could probably find something there too. I didn't really look in the Wynn and Encore, but I'll get to that when I talk about the Venetian. On my 4th day at CES? Yes. That's kind of where I spent my 4th and 5th day at Tech West. And then, just to make it really interesting, there is Tech South. That's located at the Aria Cosmopolitan area. That's kind of some newer places that were built, I don't know, maybe a decade ago. I can't remember. Really high-class places to stay. I think they're some of the most expensive places you can stay, but don't quote me on that. I'm not really big on knowing like what's the biggest place here. Anyway. I only really spent like maybe a few hours there on day 4, and I'll get into that when I get to that particular episode. So what did I do today on my first day of CES? I went straight to the convention center. Namely, the show floor opened at about 10 o'clock, but I decided to go and get a little breakfast at the media room, and fortunately I happen to know where that is. Okay, so let's talk about how I did my day. Well, I of course woke up and, left my hotel, took a shuttle bus because they offer the free shuttles there, and they're from like every major casino. So I think Luxor, Excalibur, they had a shuttle bus that I had to meet up at the Excalibur Loop, and it was a pretty slow bus ride. I think it took me like an hour from when we left to when we got there. I could probably have walked that in about half the time, but I don't really risk that. While we were on the ride, we passed that Sphere, the one that everyone's talking about, the one they're doing all the TikToks about. I really wish they had parties there, but I'm sorry, I don't think I'm ever going to see the inside of that unless like there's a special invitation by someone else. And from then on, I arrived at the convention center, which I've shown you before when I was dealing with the Sony press conference. However, I had to get over to the north section, but there's an easy way to travel. There's this Tesla tunnel I think they call it the Vegas Loop. It's basically these, so you take an escalator and then there's all these Tesla cars there that people are driving, and they just take you there. I had a wonderful talk with the driver. I'm just going to put in the conversation there.
This is good.
How's everybody doing?
Very good. I like this transportation.
Yeah, better than walking, right?
Yeah, I did this last year and I thought, shoot, I saved so much time. In fact, I did a TikTok video, and I think from the time I went down there to the time I got there, 3 minutes. How long before these could become driverless, do you think?
Nevada hasn't passed the law. The cars are capable. Nevada just hasn't passed the law.
Think that'll happen soon?
Nah, not for at least 6 years, because it's got to go through 2 different legislations.
Jeez.
Hey, what are you trying to get me out of a part-time job or what?
I'm not, but I think...
Okay, and once I got to the other end of the North Hall, it was just a matter of heading to the media room, where I had myself a really nice breakfast that morning. And I'm leaving because CES is just about to start, and I kind of want to get in, I don't know, line and bunch, whatever it is that you get into. Again, this is the West Hall. This isn't the only place where you can enter in and see CES. There's like Central Hall and probably others as well.
Okay. So it looks like CES is officially open. This is just one of the entrances of it. So it's probably happening at Central Hall as well. Probably should have got a shot there, but I'm going to visit this place first. Okay, I just want to give you a good idea how big this is. This goes all the way to the back down there. And yeah, I met someone at Amazon Automotive, and I'm probably going to have to talk to them. So yeah, this is huge. This really is very big. Just for the sake of, if I can get a close up there. Yeah, that goes all the way. You can see all the people here crowding in all the countries.
That red X is where we are, in the West Hall, specifically at the convention center. And we'll make it to Central here in a bit. One thing you might notice here is not only how big it is, you see how a lot of people have those yellow bags? That's pretty common. There's a thing that hangs out there. I don't know if Nikon has some sort of like agreement with CES, but every CES, those bags are like everywhere, and I mean everywhere. And people use them to hold their swag and do all their stuff. And you can look around here, you can see a lot of automobiles related stuff. This is pretty much what West Hall is. So yeah. So I was just kind of wandering through here, seeing how much I can do, just wanting to show you how big this is, and how if just to go all the way to the end of it is a few minutes of walking time. So yeah, you can probably measure the space in here in terms of football fields. And oh yeah, I just remembered this particular thing here. I was making a TikTok video, and yeah, it ended up on YouTube Shorts, of course. I don't remember the name of this company though. Anyway, so it's quite a journey here, which I was glad to make, and I loved. Just for me, it's about just going to the booths and visiting and just seeing what I. Okay, there really wasn't much for me to see in North Hall. North Hall is more devoted to like automotive kind of stuff. And as a product reviewer of end-user consumer electronics, there wasn't really much I could do to help out there, or at least as far as like what I do with my channel. So I decided I was going to go take the, what was it called? The Vegas Loop back to Central Hall. And I'm going to get into a little bit of exploration there right now.
I have an answer for you. Oh, that's so good. I'm on every social media to ever exist at It's Lenny.
Okay, you heard me talk at length about the wonders of Central Hall. And one of the last stops I made was to Samsung at their booth, who I'd already seen in a press conference. But I actually met not one, but two celebrities there. Yeah, that was kind of cool. The first is Noel Lee, and if you're not familiar with him, he's the head monster of Monster, you know, the Monster cables. I actually interviewed him like at a CES like maybe 10, 15 years ago. It was crazy how much. And I just saw him there. He was like, he had this big necklace that said Head Monster. I got the footage on my GoPro, but it's not that good, and you can't really hear the dialogue very well. But it's there, and I got to see him again, and I thought that was cool. It used to be that Monster had a huge party of some type at CES. I don't know if they had it this year. I'm guessing they probably didn't. But yeah. And then another surprise, which I never expected, which was deep in the back by where they were showing off the AI Bali, was Martha Stewart. Yeah, so I got some footage of that, and here it is.
So doesn't that look good? And that looks really good. And this is going to look really good. This is so special. Try. Let's make some sprinkle on. That looks beautiful.
Okay, unfortunately, I didn't have all the time in the world to look around Central Hall, but believe me, I would have. As it was, I started at about, 12:30 or something like that, and the show floor was going to close at about 6, and that's when I had a party to go to. Showstoppers. And that was in the Bellagio, and fortunately, there's, as I've said before, free shuttle services. But I wanted to make sure I departed on time. So I figured if I left by about, 5:15, I would get to the Bellagio on time. And I'll let you know if that worked out, but needless to say, I had to leave